Gambling. Who here loves to gamble? Raise your hand if you love to gamble. I, for one, would consider myself a gambler. I do like gambling because life is about taking risks and taking chances. I gambled on this channel. Okay, I really didn't gamble on this channel. Started because of a hobby. The Astros are taking a gamble, as I'm going to label it, on Josh Hader. They just signed Josh Hader to a 5-year, $95 million contract. Super excited that we got some baseball news. Like, desert out there, nobody's signing, and there are still big names on the market like Josh Hader who have not signed yet, and he finally signed. So thank you, Josh Hader, for signing and giving me something to talk about. If you follow my channel, you know I am a fan of Josh Hader. I think Josh Hader is a phenomenal pitcher, and you just go back and look at his track record. The resume speaks for itself. And in fact, by signing with the Astros, he's going back to where it all began. He was drafted by the Houston Astros, and he got paid his bank $95 million. Nothing to sneeze at. He got his money's worth. And the Dodgers, my team, were in the mix for Josh Hader. They did not end up getting Josh Hader. I feel like Josh Hader for the Dodgers would kind of been like a luxury type of thing. A necessity, it's just a luxury. And the Dodgers, they could have used Josh Hader, don't get me wrong. They need lefties out of the bullpen, but definitely with this contract and his price would have been a luxury. But he goes to Houston. He thought the Astros were going to be kind of downfall, dethroned by the Rangers. I'm afraid you're wrong, because they're not going anywhere. New manager Joe Espada, Josh Hader, they're not going anywhere. The Astros, for my money, are going to be back in the ALCS again for the 8th straight year. Why am I labeling this video gambling? Because, well, I looked back at the top 5 highest contracts for relievers. I came up with a list of those top 5 contracts, and Josh Hader does fit into that mixture. He is, in fact, number 2 on the list now. Edwin Diaz is still the highest paid, which we saw, I think, last year he got paid. And so let's go through it. We're going to start off from number 1, the highest paid reliever of all time for baseball is Edwin Diaz. 5-year, $105 million deal with the New York Mets. And of course, last year it ended so tragically in the WBC, coming off of a fresh, brand new contract with the Mets, coming off of a just phenomenal 2022 season. When Edwin Diaz is in the game, when he's pitching for the Mets, it just brings electricity to Citi Field. The Trumpet Mania was so fun to watch. Team of the Trumpet, Mr. and Mrs. Mets going crazy. It was awesome to watch, man. Those trumpets, and I just loved it. Edwin Diaz, lights out pitcher for the Mets. 5 years, 105. In his first year of the contract, he didn't pitch a single ball. It's not fair to label Diaz as, it's off to a bad start. Let's see how he does, how he comes back, and hopefully comes back strong. But yeah, it wasn't a good start for the Mets for that contract. Secondly on this list is going to be Josh Hader. As I mentioned, 5-year, $95 million. Josh Hader is a 5-time All-Star and has a career 2.5 ERA. I should mention that Edwin Diaz has a career 2.93 ERA as well. A 2-time All-Star. Josh Hader, not too shabby himself. Most of these guys have a case for the Hall of Fame that are on this list for the highest paid relievers. They have that in their back pocket. These guys have been really good at one point or another in their career. You don't get paid this type of money by accident. Josh Hader and the Astros, it's going to be a perfect marriage. He lights out. He's going to be the closer for the Astros, taking over Ryan Presley's role, which he should. So, I think, at the end of the day, I think Hader will do fine in Houston. I think that's a good spot for him. The third highest reliever contract on this list is going to be Aroldis Chapman, who got paid in 2017 with the New York Yankees for 5 years, $86 million. So there's that 5-year spot. That seems to be the sweet spot for these relievers. They love their 5 years. And Aroldis Chapman, throughout his Yankee tenure, when you're with the Yankees or in New York, in the Bronx, you can have a big spotlight on you. And Aroldis Chapman, being the closer of the New York Yankees, had a pretty big spotlight on him for most of his tenure, and ups and downs like any team or player goes through. Chapman coming out of that with the Yankees after his 5 years were done. A career 3.15 ERA and had 3 All-Star games through those 5 years. So overall, I think that's a pretty good deal that the Yankees got out of him. Of course, there's a couple of tarnishes on his resume with the Altuve home run and then the Mike Brasso home run. There's that, but the postseason failures and all that. But overall, I think Chapman did a good job there with the Yankees. And you have Kenley Jensen. Kenley Jensen, a widely popular figure amongst Dodger fans. He signed a 5-year, $80 million extension with the Dodgers back in 2017. At the time, Jensen was looking for good money at the time, and the Marlins were in the race for Jensen, and he called up the Dodgers and said, hey, can you give me $80 million? I'll go right back to you. And then the Dodgers gave him that money, and he came back to the Dodgers, and he did fine. I think Jensen did fine. Now, was he as dominant as he was pre-2017? No, he was not. But was he still really good? Yes, he was really good. And unfortunately, during that 2017 through the 2021 season, he did not close the World Series for the Dodgers. Like, he had ups and downs as well. Like, you're in LA with the Dodgers, you have a big microscope on you as well. And Kenley Jensen faltered a little bit during his tenure with the Dodgers through 17 and 21. Had 2 All-Star seasons, and of course the World Series championship in 2020. So overall, I think Jensen was pretty good. And Jensen pitched to a 2.6 ERA with the Dodgers. So you could probably name those 4 guys that I just mentioned as the top 5 highest paid relievers. But this one might stump you a bit. Number 5 on this list is Mark Melancon. Now, this is not to throw shade at Mark Melancon, because if you've been around baseball, you know Mark Melancon was once upon a time pretty good, and it has been pretty good throughout his career. He's just been kind of undercover the last couple of years. But Mark Melancon got paid by the San Francisco Giants, if you remember that. Back in 2017, he got a 4-year and $62 million deal with the San Francisco Giants. He did not last his entire San Francisco Giants tenure. He was traded at the 2019 deadline to the Atlanta Braves. So during that tenure with the Giants, Mark Melancon had a 3.75 ERA overall. Mark Melancon and the Giants just did not really work out there, and he ended up being traded halfway through his contract. Overall, going through these numbers, seeing these guys get paid, relievers get paid, does it end up working out? Is it best for the team? Like, most of the time you're paying these guys, you're paying them sort of at the end of their prime, and so you're not going to see peak numbers. You're still going to get good numbers, and it's kind of similar to the National Hockey League in a sense, where it's hard to find a great goaltending. It's kind of hard to find good closing pitchers. Like, it's really hard to find good closers in the game of baseball. It's not a job for everybody to do, and you got to be really nailed to do that job. So it's not easy to find good closers, and these guys are getting paid for obvious reasons, because they're good at what they do. Josh Hader, I think it's going to be fun. Kind of a luxury in a sense too with the Astros, but overall, I think if you're an Astros fan, you got to be happy with it. Like, Josh Hader is an elite closer, a 5 reliever in the game, and you got to be happy with it. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. As always, relievers ever worth $100 million? Sometimes you just got to gamble.